It feels like every few months, the music world just completely freaks out about AI, right? You see the headlines everywhere. Creativity is dead. Musicians are about to be replaced. But is that the whole story? In this explainer, we're going to dig into a totally different angle. What if AI isn't the threat we think it is? What if it's actually the leverage that artists have been waiting for? So yeah, let's reframe this whole panic.
This quote kind of says it all, doesn't it? The anxiety around AI, it's very real. But what if all our anger is just pointed at the wrong target? Look, this isn't about ignoring the tech. It's about taking a hard look at the broken, kind of messed up economic system that AI is walking into.
Okay, so, Section 1. The AI panic is here. Before we start busting any myths, we have to acknowledge the fear. Because honestly, it is completely understandable. I mean, think about it. When you're already burned out, when you're barely breaking even after pouring your heart and soul into your work, any new disruption, it doesn't feel like an opportunity. It feels like another threat to your survival. So the fear isn't just about robots making songs, it's way deeper. It's about this profound exhaustion with an industry that feels like it's been squeezing you dry for years.
But here's the thing. We have been here before. So many times. Every single major technological shift in music was met with these exact same doomsday predictions. People swore drum machines would replace all drummers. Instead, they gave us new genres. Everyone thought Napster was the literal end of the music industry. Instead, it just forced it to evolve. It's the same old cycle. First comes the panic, then adaptation, and finally, integration. It happens every time.
So that brings us to Section 2, the wrong enemy. This whole history of panic really leads to a huge question. Are we even fighting the right battle today? Okay, this is where we have to get really clear. The panic you see online is all about being replaced by some algorithm. But the actual day-to-day fear from most musicians, it's not about software. It's about pouring your entire life, your money, your time into your craft, and still not being able to pay your rent. The fear is fundamentally economic, not technological.
And that's the question that changes this entire conversation. If we just stop looking at the shiny, scary new tech for a second, what's the underlying problem that's been making artists' lives so incredibly difficult for so long?
Which brings us to Section 3. Meet the real villain. Because the real problem isn't the new kid on the block. It's the old, pre-existing system that was broken way before AI ever showed up.
Let's be real, AI didn't invent any of this stuff. It didn't create the fraction of a penny streaming rates. It didn't design those impossibly confusing royalty chains. And it sure didn't build the giant walls around the industry that are guarded by gatekeepers. No, these are deep, systemic problems that have made a sustainable career in music a near impossibility for decades.
How many times have you heard this one? It's said to artists all the time, and it sounds so noble, right? Like it's a badge of honor for being a creative person. But let's really look at what that phrase actually does.
This phrase, it's not a belief, it's a tool. It's a weapon, really, used to justify paying artists less than their worth. It romanticizes being poor to prove an artist's authenticity, which, surprise, surprise, conveniently benefits an industry that profits from their work while paying them as little as possible. It's an emotional tool that keeps a broken economic system chugging along.
And this whole thing has a name, the starving artist myth. It's the cultural programming that stops a healthy middle class from ever forming in music. So instead of having thousands of artists making a decent, sustainable living, we get a system that looks like a lottery. A few huge winners at the very top, and pretty much everyone else struggling at the bottom. So Section 4, AI as your leverage. If the system is the real problem, how in the world do you fight back? Well, this is where the whole story flips. We're going to reframe AI not as a threat, but as your tool, your leverage. Let's be perfectly clear. AI has no taste. It has no soul, no intention. It's just software that's incredibly good at finding patterns. You are still the creative director. You're the one telling it what to do. If you start thinking of it as a friction remover, a tool that just handles the boring, tedious parts of the job, it becomes way less scary and way more powerful.
And you can see the practical difference right here. What used to cost thousands of dollars in studio time and engineers can now be done with AI-assisted tools on your laptop. What used to require being in the same city is now instant, global collaboration. Instead of just guessing who your fans are and hoping to get discovered, you can now use data to find them directly. AI systematically lowers the cost and kicks out the gatekeepers who used to control this whole process.
So what does all that mean? It means a team of one, just one person, can now pull off what used to require a massive team and a major label budget. This is a fundamental, massive shift in power.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. When you combine these AI tools with some of the emerging ideas from Web3, which is all about direct connections with fans and digital ownership, you get a brand new, powerful model for being an artist. AI helps you find your audience, and Web3 gives you the tools to build a direct relationship with them, cutting out all those middlemen who take a cut. This is how you build an industry where artists can actually build and sustain a real career.
All right, Section 5, the artist's real choice. So this isn't about just accepting some future dictated by technology. It's about making a conscious, strategic choice. A choice between dependency and durability.
You know, the biggest threat to creativity isn't a new piece of software. It's economic stress. It's being so trapped in survival mode, just trying to make ends meet, that you have absolutely no time, no energy, and no mental space left to actually create, to plan, or to grow. If AI tools can free up some of that capacity, they aren't killing creativity, they're creating room for it to breathe.
This right here is the choice that every artist is facing now. You can keep waiting for permission from a system that was never, ever built for your success. Or you can learn the tools that are available right now to build something that you own, something durable, something that can actually last.
Ultimately, the most rebellious act in today's music industry isn't fighting technology. It's using every single tool at your disposal to build a sustainable career on your own terms. So the question isn't whether AI is coming, it's already here. The real question is, how are you going to use it?